Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. So I'm here today to talk about over the reality and what is our new big program, that is Map the World program. So what is over the reality? Over the reality is a platform that blends the physical world with digital content, and it does this through what is called geolocalized AR. It's a Web3 platform, and so it's a place where people can play, build, and own and earn digital assets. And finally, to us, this is the new way that people will interact with the information, because we will move from a 2D screen to an augmented world. And this is not only us saying this and dreaming about this since 2019, but as you probably saw, there is a new stream that is coming out in technology that is about spatial computing. On 5th of June, at World War DC, Apple released the news of the Vision Pro. And what they said is that when you put on the Vision Pro, you see the world around you, but just augmented. And funny enough, just a few months down the road, even Meta had to change their path and move to this direction. In fact, the first thing that they said is that when you put on Quest 3, you see a physical room around you, only now is a digital canvas. So there is, a trend, a stream that is pushing us to this spatial computing platform. So this is the future, but there are also some technical problems to make this happen. We all know about augmented reality, but we don't see it really ubiquitously around us. And the problem, the technical problem that we need to solve is not only about the hardware that we saw before, but also the fact that if you want to do compelling augmented reality, you need a way to locate assets in space very precisely. Here you see an example of placing this gorilla in the Tour Eiffel using just the GPS. And as you see, the GPS is not precise, because GPS outdoor has like 6 meters precision, and that is not enough to really convincingly augment the world. And indoor doesn't even work. So if I wanted to have an avatar exactly here now, I could not do that with GPS. So in order to achieve this goal, you need another technology that is called VPS, or Visual Positioning System. So it's a computer vision system that, like your eyes, look around you and understands where you are in space. So that's what we're building at Over the Reality, exactly this system. So just to give an example of what you can build with this system, so you can have assets that are actually connected to the location and are aware of what is the space around them. So you can have the Bored Ape jumping on the building, or you can have this asset from Sandbox that basically merges with the physical space. And also, this is a nice example of what you can do in Web3. You can bring assets from other platforms to your platform, because NFTs are permissionless. But moving on, how we do this. So we built a solution that with simple smartphones, no LiDAR needed, $200 smartphone will do the job. You will take pictures of a location. I did this a few months ago in Laguna Beach. It took me 3 minutes. And from these pictures, we create a 3D point cloud of a location. So we have the 3D structure of this location. And this point cloud is used for the creators to know how is the location so they can augment it. And then our system in the backend will relocate you in space. And another important thing is that from this data, you can also generate what is called a digital twin of the location. This that you're seeing here now is a neural hallucination. This is a neural network that is hallucinating this place, is hallucinating point of views that I didn't field. And so thanks to this technique, not only you can have an augmented world, but you can also have a digital twin that is explorable. So I want just to stress the point that this data, it's really the key to the metaverse, to the augmented reality metaverse. Without this 3D structure of the world, we cannot build the AR augmented world that we think about when we think about the future. And the companies that will control this data will control the access to this augmented reality metaverse. So we believe that it's really important that somebody tries to do that in Web3. And that's why we're building this. And how we're going to do that? So the world is huge, as all we us know. And in order to map it, we need a crowd of people to do that. So right now, we just launched the program. We have 1,300 people that just started mapping the world. In the last 4 months, we generated 18,000 of these maps. But then you have another question. So where you go to map? Because as I said, the world is huge, so you cannot think you're going to map it all. So in order to know where we want to map, we use the wisdom of the crowd. So I didn't mention it, but in our system, in order to publish, you need to buy digital lens. For example, this is an hexagon representing this location. And we had 30,000 people that bought 870,000 of these spatial domains in the world. And if you think about that, when they bought it, they thought, okay, what is the good location that I could invest in? So we are going to leverage this wisdom of the crowds to decide where to send people to map. So we're going to send the people to map these 870,000 locations that you can see here on the map, but you can also check it out on our website. And moving on, what is really the moonshot? So we think, if you think about Google Maps, we are doing something kind of similar, and Google Maps, by the way, generates 1 billion users monthly, but they have a different focus. So they are focused on navigation, and basically they're mapping with satellites and cars. Our system, of course, as I said, is crowdsourced, so we have people in famous locations that go and map. And of course, they are Web 2 business model. We have a Web 3 business model. The people that map locations, they own the data of this map. So this map is there. So think about having Google Maps, but owned by the people that creates it. And finally, of course, Google Maps is about navigation, about these 360 bubbles. I mean, what we are doing is about augmented reality and about this exploration that I showed before with the nerve. Coming back to how the platform is built, so OVR is built of 3 main layers. We have an ownership layer, we have a mapping layer that I just talked about, and we have a building layer. So very quickly going through that. So first of all, if you know about the central end, OVR works similarly, but in the real world. So in the central, you have a map, a digital map of a totally virtual world. On OVR, you have a map of the physical world. So as in the web, you buy a web domain, you can publish on the web page. In our case, you buy a spatial domain. So you buy geographic coordinates and you can publish in that location. And of course, all of this is NFTs. And this is the mapping interface. Actually, this is the old one, but anyway, this is the way it works. You just have a heat map that tells you where to go to take the pictures, and then you generate the point clouds and the neural render that I was mentioning you. And finally, the third layer, yes, now you have who can publish content where with the ownership layer. You have the mapping layer, so you can have precision, but then you need tools to publish. So we have 2 kinds of builders to allow people to upload content. So we have a web builder that is easy to use, just drag and drop 3D files or NFTs that you own, and so really low access. And the second one is a Unity SDK. So if you can code in Unity, you can build whatever you want with logic, so you can even build games inside of this platform. So far, we have 3,000 people that uploaded content, and they basically commented 17,500 locations with this AR content. And yeah, just some traction. So, so far since we launched, we have reached 1 million users. The first use case that we had was a treasure hunt similar to Pokemon Go. We sent people to 1.6 million locations, and we have 850,000 downloads of the app. We sold 870,000 of these spatial domains that I was mentioning you. We reached 35 employees, and in the last 5 months, we created 18,000 of those maps, 3D maps that I was mentioning you. Just to give you an idea of the market, what are the other players that are over there? So here, the way that I divided it is between dev-oriented and end-to-end. So dev-oriented, it means that it gives you the tools to relocate you in space, but they don't give you a platform that just works. You need to publish your own app. So on the left side, you have Google that has this system. You have Azure. You have Lightships that are the founders of Pokemon Go, for example. And on the right side, we have the platform that are end-to-end. So you don't need to be a coder. You just upload content. So Instagram is down because they are building more like AR filters. They're not really augmenting the words. While, for example, Line Studio from Snap and us, we are providing this end-to-end solution to augment the words. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for your attention. If you have any questions, happy to answer. Please.
So one thing you mentioned that I thought was super cool is you said that the users, the mapper themselves, they're the ones who own that data, right?
Exactly.
What kinds of data economy are you seeing around this data? Like, is there sort of a market being made for exchanging this data? And sort of what does that market's stack look like? Like where would people be trading this data? Is this data being tokenized into data tokens, or is all this kind of, down the line as Web3 business models are explored?
Yeah, no, so first of all, this data is represented by an NFT that encodes all of the data, so the raw data and the elaborated data that basically is this 3D point cloud and the nerve that you saw before. And so the use case for this data is, first of all, inside of our platform to actually augment the world, in a compelling way, so having precise geolocation. So we are the first consumers of this data. But as I mentioned before, as we move towards this spatial computing era, where the world will be augmented, when we will have smart glasses and so on, this data will be very valuable, because without this data, you cannot augment the world in the correct way. So we see in the future that there will be also requests from third parties, but the important part now is that this data is useful for us. And another interesting use case that just came out lately, for example, if you think about that, this data is like a fingerprint of what exists in the world in a specific place, in a specific moment, because basically you scan the location, you map it, and then you mint it on the blockchain, so it's there forever. And for example, there are platforms that are working on reforestation and carbon credits. If you want to certify that something exists in a place, this is a very good system, because it's 3 minutes job, you map 300 square meters, you have the 3D structure of that location, and you basically timestamp it, you mint it on the blockchain, and it's there. And this data is very difficult to fake because there's a 3D structure, there's a picture behind it, there are GPS points and so on. So this is, for example, another collateral use case that we was not thinking about that is actionable even right now. And for example, we are partnering with this project that is called QREST that is doing exactly that, so basically tokenizing carbon credits. And in the next future, we are gonna work together to allow them to use this technology to further certify the system of green mass in locations. Yeah, that's it.
Super cool, thank you.
Thank you very much.